is usually not a successful mechanism unless the two begin to actually grow together into a common system. If one attempts to suddenly drop his own path of light that he has been developing for long periods of time and step over into another, he has not have the background to accomplish it, and usually it results in a lack or a falling back to a new starting point. If a different type of path is selected, one must then revitalize his own system, change his system to meet the new path that he desires to select. This ability to sense the individuals who are on many separate paths but in a parallel manner, in a mass manner, related to each other, is one of the things that brings about the expanding capabilities of each individual within that mass of development.
How then can we identify first the path that a given individual is on, and are there common paths that can be coalesced into a common objective? Can this be done?
This is what we have previously discussed with you, that it is an automatic procedure. The paths, when one is on a certain path or a certain objective, the individuals who have the similar paths are automatically attracted together, so that there is a commonality or a group objective in the direction of that overall path. The process of selection is great, and that is the reason why many souls who have come up with different concepts of the development, and many religions, many peoples who have adapted certain religions which have tended to formulate their mental processes or their paths that they have selected, all are attracted and congregate into certain areas in the universe, and this becomes their sphere of influence, and it becomes separate from the spheres of influence of others. And quite often they believe that theirs may be the only existing sphere of influence, because their thoughts have been so narrowly controlled within walls that only those individuals who have those thoughts are within that particular environment that they have built up.
That does infer that within the Earth sphere, however, there are many different paths. This common path does not necessarily include all souls and entities here in the Earth sphere.
No, it does not. And this is the right of the individual soul to develop and select their rate of development, their direction of development, and their procedure for development.
But it would appear that we have need to further enhance this development, if possible, then to accelerate it, to not be diverted into non-developmental sidelines. What information can you give us to more accurately pinpoint this path upon which any individual has sought and is traveling? How can we identify it more clearly?
You ask, how can you identify the path of any particular individual? The path of any particular individual is his own path and under his own control, and he is automatically attracted to those who have paths which are similar or which have vibratory influences which tend to supplement or improve the path that he has selected for himself. Now, these paths may be in many directions or with many objectives, and the paths selected by individuals or groups of individuals may negate each other. This selection or the process of determining is one of the things that we have the basic ability. We sense other individuals, and in sensing them, we sense the places where they have selected things which we do not feel, have not accepted in our environment, and vice versa. They feel the things about us that they have not selected in environment. So when any two individuals come together, they automatically undergo a process of analyzing each other. And those who repel have adopted objectives which repel the other individual are automatically repelled and are soon separated. The process of building up individuals is more or less automatic. However, the process of getting individuals in the neighborhood or within the environment of other individuals so that they can sense the points of commonality is something that must be done. This is not necessarily constituted by meeting of the gross bodies of these individuals. The individual souls can be brought together and sense each other in their out-of-body experiences, and this is one of the very valuable processes that continue in the out-of-body experience. This is the meeting up with other souls who are on different paths, who have a different fingerprint of development which can be assessed by the others. The ability is within each to sense the others, and where the individual has expanded or his intangible goal field about him to include certain things that are desirable, he automatically, when he brings himself into the environment of others, is attracted to those who have those particular intangible environments that he has set out for himself.
Then I need an answer that when this interaction of souls in the out-of-body state, does this take place during what we identify as our state of sleep?
Yes. This is one of the prime things that occur. Our soul is scanning many other existences within the environment around him, and he learns shortly to approach the different environments because of the different types of existences that take place within those environments. the process of control of the out-of-body experiences is the selection of the types of environments and the approaching of these environments. This is not merely a mechanical process on the part of the physical body or this entanglement of the individual from his physical body, but involves the total surrounding network of environmental objectives that the individual soul has placed as his own goal. He can select from his network of goal environments the type of substance or areas in this that he wishes to amplify, and then this will automatically project him to the localities where these environments are available to him.
Does he then, upon completion of physical life, enter one of these environments, one of these in this network?
He is in a similar situation after he has been relieved of the physical body, and continues an existence somewhat as he did while he was in a physical body, but not quite as restricted as he was in the physical body in terms of the other areas or the ease of approaching other areas. However, this takes development and practice on the part of the individual, because once he has been relieved of the physical body environment which he has become so used to, he does not have the normal things to cling to that he used to have, and he tends to automatically cling to those environmental thought areas which are uppermost or have been uppermost in controlling his environment. And for initially, these are the environments that he goes to and is attracted to and exists in. And if his thought frame has been extremely limited and extremely controlled, he has very great difficulty in escaping from this thought environment that he has developed for himself. This is one area that great assistance can be given to the individuals who are in the process of passing from outside of the physical environment, because they are lacking in the experience needed, or more appropriate, they have been accustomed to the physical environment so much that they feel out of place and do not know how to control themselves under the non-physical environment. Assistance can be given to these individuals. The simplest assistance is in forming a light or an influence which is strong enough to penetrate to their own environment that they have developed, so that they become aware of the outside influence, so that there is an outside world to the one that they have closed themselves within, and this allows them then to put their minds to outside other things and begin to develop in the non-physical world. This is merely one of the processes that takes place and the tendencies that take place on the individual when he passes from the physical to the non-physical world. Sooner or later, they begin to become aware of the exterior to them and pass on from this condition. It is a temporary condition which is relatively close to the physical body.
How then can we perform this assistance, this putting the light into their selected environment? How can we perform this?
By projecting the light, by developing our own light spheres, by joining together so that a very intense light form takes place because of the mass of individuals who are gathered together to form this. And the light is only one factor. This is the appearance that comes to the individual, but the overall mental thought of the individuals in reaching in and guiding, he can also sense their systems, their group thoughts, their group environment, and feel that in a manner similar to he feels the light source without him, and he begins to know then that there is things outside of the sphere that he has been suddenly projected into and expands. If the process of out-of-body experiences is practiced while in the body, this then is something that is already known to the individual soul, and he is very readily removed from his body and the physical environment to the expansion in the non-physical environment. However, the processes are much the same as they were when he was in his physical body, but are much more readily accomplished in the expanding overall into the overall universe.
How then can we improve his ability to have the out-of-body experience while he's still in his physical body, so he can improve his selection, and so he can be more readily aware? How can we improve this with him, with the individual, while he's still in his physical body?
First, he must be educated as to his own existence, what he constitutes, what is under his control, what he is, and then he too can be introduced to the overall process of stepping out and expanding and controlling the ever-expanding environment surrounding himself, and the selecting of the things that go into this environment. These are things that come jointly between the mental process and the actual immersion in the atmosphere of the things that are taking place, so that he can sense and become a part of these developmental factors. He must throw himself into it and expand and become a part of the expanded group knowledge in order to pass over into the other larger group spheres. He must attach himself and develop his own sphere of influence to agree with these extraneous group spheres if he is to experience them and become a part of them, or develop his system so that it becomes aware of them and can selectively develop as he determines himself he desires to develop.
What specific techniques, while he's still in his physical body, can we help him perform in a specific way to perform and do just exactly what we have stated?
The first technique that comes to mind, of course, is to eliminate the influences of the physical body. Therefore, to take out all of the messages that are being transmitted to his brain center through his physical body. These messages and the experiencing of the physical environment must be left behind if one is to concentrate on the non-physical environment. The process of relieving any strain or stresses in the human body, and particularly of relieving the human mind of its portion which relates to the physical body, is the first step. This is only the first step, but is an important one because it is the thing which normally detracts from the individual in expanding his overall environment and reaching out into other environments. Merely relieving from the physical body is a beginning and tends to release the soul, but he must then be given the overall assistance and knowledge of how to conduct himself without conducting within the physical body. This is an educational process which takes place mentally, but the experiencing of the outside vibratory influences is the vital part of it. Most people learn to do this within their physical body or while they're within their physical body, and can do it without really playing down the physical body. Or it's a process of expanding to a sphere which is outside the physical body. The more one expands this sphere and improves his sensory systems so that he can play his sensory sphere to the areas that he desires, this introducing of the individual to his own constituency and his own ability to play and amplify, this is the more important initial phase of the process.
What specific way can we do to help him along the path and teach him to get into this other part of the initial phase, this perception?
As I said, the most vital part is the experiencing, and therefore if you are to assist him, you must tend to build up the lighter exterior influences around him so that he, when his body is certainly relieved, can actually experience these outside influences. This then is one of the most vital processes, that is setting up of the right environment for the individual in vibratory influences, mental processes, and having the right exterior non-material forces around him so that he is able to step into them and experience with them.
How can we set up these exterior vibratory forces?
By reaching out and building them up around the individuals and the facilities that he is immersed in.
But by reaching out, what is meant by this reaching out?
Reaching out is a selective process. Reaching out implies that one has a format, has selected a particular type of system which he is reaching out towards. This automatically pushes back those systems which do not fall within this category and which may even negate this category. So the reaching out is a selection of the vibratory influences, the sphere of environment that is desirable. This, of course, can be in the mere process, can be any environment and can be negative or positive forces, and therefore you could build up a facility which was built primarily for negating some of the forces which are considered desirable. This is a part of the selection process, the goal process. Merely teaching to expand out of body can be very deleterious unless the knowledge of what is being accomplished and what the individual is doing to himself is given to him.
How can we effectively give him this knowledge?
One can only give forth the knowledge that is within him, and therefore if it is a process of expanding oneself, the group of practitioners, and the atmosphere that they are immersing themselves into. One cannot teach others those things which he has not learned to control himself. He must learn to control these factors himself, must expand himself so that he is a living example of the experience, and then others can automatically experience or become aware of these factors which they are to learn. But it is useless to attempt to transmit a knowledge to others if that knowledge has not been put to practice within the facility and that is doing the teaching.
On the assumption that I must ask then the question, is my knowledge sufficient at this stage to begin this assistance to people in developing the out-of-body experience? How, if not, then how can I improve my own?
The assessment of your own state of development, of course, is something that is important, and it is one of the vital reasons for going about these experiments that you are undertaking, because it is, for one thing, a portion of your overall development of your state, the development of your state of development and expansion. One can always assist others or work with others up to his own state of development. And so if it is a process of reaching back and working with those who have not reached such a state of development, this is possible.